People came up to me everywhere to ask me, what is that car? Where does it come from? What is it? So when I'd finished restoring the car, I registered WOT, which hopefully gives people the initiative to ask, what is it? In 1968, I was at Bathurst watching the 500-mile race, and a DeTomaso Mangusta was driven around the circuit doing demonstrations. At that point, I fell in love. My name is Paul Beranger. I'm a retired automotive designer, still passionate about cars, especially Italian classic cars. The Mangusta is an art car. It was launched in the Turin Motor Show in 1966, almost as a single prototype. The attraction to the car was immediate, and as a result of that, DeTomaso himself decided to go into limited production. In total, they built just over 400. My car is one of 12 right-hand drive cars in the world. When I bought the Mangusta, it was very rough, very wrecked, and quite rusty. So I set about a restoration program, which took me around 15 years. The car was stripped back to bare metal. The steel and aluminium body was largely reworked, as was the complete mechanical driveline and interior. A designer can never keep anything original because we always think we can do something better. But the perfect shape of the DeTomaso Mangusta body is something I didn't change at all. I never grew up in a car family. In fact, my dad never had a car until I was about 16. But I was always fascinated with things mobility-wise. While I was doing national service in the Army, I saw an ad for car designers in the paper. Answered the ad, sent some ideas into them. They obviously thought the ideas had some merit, and as a result of that, I was lucky enough to actually pick up a job as a cadet designer at GMH. After Holden, I moved to Nissan, and from Nissan, I moved into an independent design company called Millard Design. My career finished at Toyota, where I spent about 13 years setting up a design studio and employing a lot of talented Australians. As a result of my intimate role in Australian car design, I've never had a desire to collect Australian cars. I've owned Austin Healey's, BMW M6s, Skyline GTRs, and right at the moment, I've got a couple of Italian cars, particularly the DeTomaso. I decided to create Crown to CAD to showcase the talents of Australian people working in Australian design studios. So it's an expose effectively on how cars are designed, who designed them in Australia over the last 70 years. The driving experience in the Mangusta is quite unique. Sitting in the car, hearing the engine, feeling the engine vibration, but actually looking over your shoulder and seeing the engine is a very unique experience. Having the road to myself is really the ideal situation. It's difficult to achieve, but when you get out there, it's the best time. Like cars of their era, of course, they're very heavy in the steering. As the car gets faster, the steering gets lighter. So it is not used frequently, but when it is, it's worth every minute that I've owned it. The combination of a new car body and a new driveline, it was a very expensive exercise, and DeTomaso could not finance a car like that. So instead, he looked to Ford Motor Company to create a hybrid American engine, German gearbox, and Italian body. My particular DeTomaso Mangusta is one of the last ones made in 1969. So the design is mid-engine, 2 seats. It's a 5-litre V8. The engine rates about 250 horsepower. It's a 5-speed manual transmission behind it, driving the rear wheels. Mangusta is now 50 years old. It draws attention everywhere it goes. People think it is a modern car. The designer Giugiaro, then 26-year-old, created a masterpiece. It stood the test of time.